It was interesting this morning as I was coming over, one of the staff members stopped and said, "Good luck," at the press conference. And I said, only at Texas would a staff member wish you good luck in a press conference. So it is here. Football season is back. Everybody loves the opening week of college football. It's fun across the country. I can't wait to watch some of the games on Thursday night, and the anticipation of us getting started on Saturday night should be fun. We're 14-1 in openers, season openers. We've won 13 in a row. We've taken a lot of momentum out of the Oregon State game into spring practice. We felt like we had an outstanding off-season, a really good summer, and preseason camp has been good. And I can't wait to watch our guys play because I think we're very much improved, and I want everybody else to see that on Saturday night. That Nate Boyer will be here to discuss the team theme with you. It was his idea. It was a military theme, and we've over the last number of years have told the players if they want a team theme, it's up to them, but it's not something that our coaches care about. It's theirs. And if they're going to have it, they need to live by it, and Nate will be here to explain what it means. I want everybody to get in their seats early for pregame on Saturday night because we're honoring the 1963 National Championship team. And David McWilliams and Tommy Ford, who were captains of that team, will be out there as honorary captains. And a lot of members of that team will be here. So it should be fun to bring them back and congratulate them. Also, we are honoring the team as well by putting the number above the Longhorn because that's the way they had it back in 1963, and our players have not put it up there. I think we had it against A&M a couple of years ago, and that's the only time it's been worn in the 16 years that I've been here, and the players haven't seen this yet this year, but the guys will fix those helmets up Thursday morning, and they will be wearing them in practice Thursday night. And then also, this will be the new jersey with the Longhorn logo now in the V of the neck. And also the jerseys are so tight and streamlined now that Nike are making, and it's basically so people can't hold. The offensive lineman jerseys are so tight that you can't see the numbers on the side anymore, and we wanted to keep the integrity of the stripes on the sleeves, and we didn't want to change the jersey, but we also felt like that it would be much easier to see the numbers on the top instead of on the side. So that will be the new jerseys that we will wear for the first time on Saturday night. We had our regular situation scrimmage on Thursday night, and it went really well. We worked really hard on substituting both sides of the ball with tempo offense. We worked on snapping the ball as fast as we could. We had the eight officials from the Big 12. We will be the conference with 8, and we feel like that the officials wanted to work on tempo and substituting and spotting the ball and running the clock as well. We included all phases of the kicking game and thought it went well. And we stayed healthy throughout that scrimmage, and that's always something that concerns you right at the end. But it's as close to game simulation as you can get. And we thought we got out of it what we wanted. John Bianco will hand out a depth chart for you if we haven't. John? Bill, has somebody got it? Let's hand it out to the group. Maybe we don't have it.
No, they're out.
Are they out? You've already got them? You're the only one that got one, so don't share it. Let them sit. They will be bringing depth charts over in a minute, and we can talk about that. We're not near as concerned about who starts because with what we're talking about with tempo, we're worried a lot more about playing 2 deep and in some cases 3 deep at each position in this heat and trying to get more plays that we feel like that we need to keep guys fresh throughout the game, and one of the keys on the offense is not substituting while the clock is running. So you have to work really, really hard at that. So when you look at it, like in the offensive line, we're going to try to play 8 of those guys and rotate them. Trey Hopkins has played all 5 positions. Dom Espinoza's played center and guard. Donald Hawkins has played guard and tackle. So there's a lot more versatility right now in depth in our offensive line than we've had in the past, and we're really excited about that. There's only 3 freshmen listed on the depth chart. Right now, of those 3, only Ja'Cory Warwick would definitely be playing on Saturday night. That doesn't mean the rest are redshirted. You wait till midseason before you decide who is redshirted and who is not, but Tyrone Swoops and Kent Perkins are also listed there as guys who could potentially play this weekend. Ashton Dorsey is not on there because he's had a sore calf muscle and he has not been able to practice for the last week. And Jackson Shipley is on there as an either-or because he's been limited in practice as well. DJ Johnson's had a great camp. Mike Davis is healthy, but we are concerned about the depth at wide receiver with the offense we're running and the number of plays we hope to get going into this weekend. John Bianco will release an injury report for you after we get through. We were excited to have 3 scholarships awarded on Thursday night to 3 of our walk-on players. 2 of those had scholarships last year, but they were 1 year. But Nate Boyer comes back and he's shown tremendous leadership for us. He's a guy that serves our military across the country and overseas, and he's been a tremendous leader. And right now he is snapping for both extra points and field goals and for the punts. So we're really excited about Nate. Cade McCrary has been our holder for the last couple of years. His scholarship will be renewed. And Nick Rose, who we feel like can be a real asset kicking it off for us, was awarded a scholarship as the kicker. Michael Wheeler, Drew Russo, Chris Terry, and Kyle Ashby were all guys that our coaches considered very carefully for scholarships, but we only had 3 available at this time. The players will have a normal week. They're off today, even though they'll go over and watch some video on New Mexico State. We'll practice tomorrow. We might move our practice to morning tomorrow because we are not in school, and then we'll practice Wednesday, Thursday, and head out to the hotel on Friday night. But we do feel like that Thursday's the day you finalize your game plans and your substitution, and substitution is more important than at any time we've been here because of our depth and the ability to play the guys at the right time. Doug Martin is the new head coach at New Mexico State. He was the head coach at Kent State that left a lot of good players to the coaching staff that had a good team last year. Doug was the offensive coordinator a couple of years ago at New Mexico State. He left last year to go to Boston College. He left Boston College to come back, and then when Dwayne Walker went back to the NFL as the head coach from New Mexico State, Doug Martin took the job. He also hired Greg Brandon, who is he was the offensive coordinator last year at Wyoming. So we're not sure what they'll be doing, whether Greg goes back and does some of the things he did at Bowling Green, or whether he's going to do what he did last year at Wyoming. So there'll be some adjusting that has to be done after the first quarter on Saturday night. And likewise, we're not sure what they will do on defense. Doug has said publicly that they will be a movement defense. They'll be all over the place. They'll try to confuse the offense, but we will not be able to obviously have any video from their game coming into this weekend's game. Really proud of Colt McCoy and Vince Young. I like their spirit. I like the way they've competed and fought to do what they need to do for their teams, and enjoyed watching Colt last night. I thought he played really well for San Francisco, and likewise he and Vince brought back some good memories watching them when I saw Vince come in for Green Bay the other day. And I just saw Nathan Vasher in my office a few minutes ago. He's coming back to school to finish. He's through with the NFL. He's got a year to finish, and he will be a student, so he can also work with us as a student coach. So good for him. Questions?
Is there anything you're more anxious to see than others on Saturday night, Coach, that you just can't get done in practice?
I think the actual playing of the tempo offense is what I want to see, and see us manage it, because we've done everything that we can do to simulate it in practice. I still think with 101,000 people and players being anxious, and it'll be the first time that Darrell White and Major have been involved in play selection outside of the bowl game, where they had about 10 days to prepare. And I want to see how much we've improved. I want to see our defense. I want to see that. I want to see the defense we saw 2 years ago, not the one we saw when we started last year.
fans are going to be fixated on the score, and they want to see a dominant performance. What do you as a coach?
Every week.
Sure, especially on this one. What, as a coaching staff, what do you have to see to know that you won, and you won the way you want to win this game?
The most important thing is you win the game, because everybody talks about what they want to see. What we need to be is 1-0, and we need to have learned who we are, so we can improve on that going to Brigham Young the next week. But there will be some upsets this weekend that people are making the exact same statements you said, and their team will get upset and they'll be shocked and can't believe it. So you always give the other team credit, you give them respect, and then you play your best.
Mack, what are your biggest concerns?
Biggest concern right now would be the health of our wide receivers. Because of what we're doing, we want to get more plays, and Marcus Johnson's been limited. He practiced a little bit last night. I want to see him tomorrow. We want to watch Jackson Shipley because he's been limited some. We want to see how he is. Mike Davis seems to be well. Because John Harris will be playing a lot more at wide receiver, it takes him off of some special teams. So those are probably my concerns going into the game.
And coming into camp, we were talking about how deep you guys were. You got some good looks at the younger guys, and we had Jackson and Mike coming in, and now I feel like we flip-flopped a little bit. Are you guys better off because you did work those young guys out, or do you kind of feel like you're in a worse position than you were when we thought everyone was going to be healthy for the start?
No, we feel like we'll be fine long term. The question you have is, do you play young guys in a first game and then other guys get well and all of a sudden they don't get to play the rest of the year and you've lost their year? That's why we are, as coaches, we are really pushing the ability to play a freshman in 5 games, less than half his games, and then not count it as a red shirt. And we think that would really help. It would let you play young guys early or late, like we were caught in a situation in the bowl game last year where Jalen Overstreet might have had to play. And if he'd played in 1 game for 5 plays and gotten hurt, that would have cost him a full year. And we don't think that's fair. So we're really pushing with the American Football Coaches Association and the NCAA to get it. So let those guys play a little bit, because if you play, you're a lot happier because you've been a star in high school. Your grades are better if you're playing than if you're redshirted. We've seen that for years. And it's also healthier. You might be playing a guy with a sore ankle at the end of the year because you don't have anyone else to play, where if you could put freshmen in to cover some kicks or let them be more involved, it would help you, especially 7th, 8th, 9th game, because most people don't have enough depth that they're playing the same guys at the end of the year that they're playing at the beginning.
And why is Corey the one of the young guys that you guys decided to put in that line?
Number one, he's played the position that Jackson Shipley is playing, so that gives him a chance to be in there. He can play the other positions as well, but he also has great speed and space.
You mentioned only having 2 freshmen, I believe, listed on the 2E. A bit of a change from the last 2 years. How nice is it to finally start seeing that depth physically on this depth chart out on the field?
Well, it is better, because I think 1 year we had 22 and another year, or maybe 18, and then another year we had 13, and they were all playing. So right now this is a good freshman class. It's a smaller freshman class. We're really pleased with them. We think all of them will have a chance to play at some point down the road, but there's not as much urgency to play a young one right now as we've had the last couple of years.
Do you have a plan for Tyrone? Are you 100% you want to play him? Or?
We want to see Tyrone practice this week, because he's still been limited some. He's gotten better, but unless he can run full speed, he can't play. So Major and I were talking about it last night. We'd like to play him this year. We'd like to play him in the game, but he needs to be healthy.
What's the mindset you see from your team going into this week coming out of camp?
We had a great practice last night. They were excited. You could tell they rested over the weekend. They were fresh, and we've worked them really, really hard. So I really think they can't wait till Saturday night. We'll have to be careful not to play the game on Tuesday.
Coach, since Desmond Harrison has been reintegrated with the team, what has he shown you?
Desmond showed us what we knew to be true. 6'8", 310, great feet. He is learning very quickly. He's only been out there for 4 practices. The first time he will be in full pads is tomorrow, and we're planning on playing him Saturday night. And that's also against a defense that you don't know where they're going to line up, and they've already said they're going to blitz and move a lot. So it'll be hard for him, but we feel like he needs to get in and start going.
Considering the onus was on him while he was not allowed to be with the team, how do you feel he kept up conditioning wise and whatnot?
The first day, he was not doing very well. I think it was probably anxiety more than anything else, because since then, the more he's worked, the better conditioning he's gotten into. And where most of the guys took off the weekend and rested, he worked. So he really worked hard Saturday and Sunday to make sure that he would be in better shape when we came back today.
Considering how experienced your O-line is, how do you see him meshing in with the chemistry that's already built there?
The guys want to win, and they know he's got a chance to be a really good player. So we've talked to them about that, and it's hard to bring a guy this late and just stick him in there. But these guys know that he's got a chance to be really good. So they've bought into it, and they've pulled him in, and are ready for him to play.
Mac Duke's listed as a starter over Sherrod, and it's been a really good battle in camp, and both will play. What kind of separated Duke at that spot?
I wouldn't look at in the offensive line, I wouldn't look at starters as such to say that's who's going to play, because we've got to rotate 8 or 9 guys. And we saw the other night that there were 27 plays by the first offense in the first quarter going a regular game. And we had all the officials out there, so it was actual time. And if that's the case, if we're going to be able to snap the ball that fast and get that many plays in some ball games, you're going to have to rotate a lot to keep guys fresh. And we feel the same about the secondary. I think Dwayne has 7, and Josh Turner will not play this weekend, but next weekend that could give you 8 guys that could play. And Sherrod will be in that rotating group of starters. So it doesn't matter. Carrington can move into safety. Quandary will move into nickel. The second nickel would be Adrian Phillips. But Dwayne and Stacy have done a really good job of creating depth by playing guys at different spots.
For a guy like Duke, though, that spent a lot of the spring at wide receiver and then to move back at corner, and now he's in that mix again, what does that tell you about him?
Duke only spent 5 days at wide receiver, so he didn't spend that much. But he's a guy that played some last year, and you like to have guys that are fast and can catch. And he can do both, so he'd like to use him both ways this weekend. I mean but I don't know that we can do that at this late date. So hopefully some of these receivers will be healthier as we go through the week.
And then a kick return and punt return, is that settled?
Right now, Quandary would be the punt returner, and Dejay, we would put him in as a punt returner. New Mexico State has a great kicker, a punter, excuse me. He's from Australia, and he can boom it. And he's got an unusual drop in the way the ball comes out. So we want Quandary out there to catch the first one for sure. And then you'd put Duke and Michael Thompson at kickoff return, and Dejay back there, and maybe Ja'Cory Warwick as well.
15 questions in, we haven't mentioned David Ash. When you come in,
Is that unusual?
with a veteran quarterback, is there just a more sense of unease, a guy that's had all the starts and kind of seen the bullets fly for 2 years?
Yes, David is at a great place right now considering what he's been through the last 2 years. He's had some really great moments, and he finished on such a positive the fourth quarter of the bowl game that momentum and confidence is carried through the spring and the summer. And I see him being at a good place mentally. And he had a really good scrimmage the other night. He had a great practice last night. And he's just more comfortable and excited about the offense. This is what he did at Belton. So he seems to be more comfortable there. He and Major are getting along really well. And it's his team. And this is the first time he's been able to say that. I didn't realize last year, I think on Thursday or something, we announced a starter. And so it's his time to take that next step.
Coach, first of all, happy birthday tomorrow.
Thank you, Anthony.
2 David asked questions. First one, we talked to Vince and Colt during the offseason, and they explained to me how they made their biggest jump their junior years. Do you think it would be easier or difficult for David to make that same junior jump as those guys did?
I think David can make that jump for a number of reasons. He's more experienced, he's more confident, but he's got better players around him, and I think this system really fits him. So I think all those things are positive for him moving forward.
And are you a fan of Beyonce, and does it tell you how far David's come when Beyonce's sporting David's jersey?
I am a fan of Beyonce, and in fact, you just are so respectful of what she's done in her career. She's been amazing from a very young age. I followed her because I saw a documentary on she and her family out of Houston, and Selvin Young actually knew the family and was involved, so we'd love to get her over here for a ball game.
Coach, the last few years you've kind of been pointing to this season as the one you've been most looking forward to. How do you feel today, right now, compared to this day, the last 2 years?
Last 2 years, we had a lot more question marks. And you'll always have some question marks regardless going into a season, but we've got fewer. We've got older players. We've got more depth. We have a better identity now than we did 2 years ago when we're starting over. The staff has had really good continuity for the 2 years. They've turned down jobs and stayed, and our staff's really anticipating a lot better year and enjoying watching this team play and coaching them.
And things a lot different than playing New Mexico State in '98.
It has been a full circle, I guess. I didn't realize. I guess we've played them 3 times since I've been here, and I didn't realize that. We've played them 4 times in our history, but it is a lot different. My hair's gray.
Does that Friday before the opener ever change, Coach, now as much as when you were a young head coach?
It really doesn't. You get that anxious feeling about you can't wait to see your team, because every coach in America today would tell you the same thing. There's hope, but you're not sure because you haven't played anybody but yourself. And what a lot of people wouldn't realize is when you sit and watch practice as a head coach and you're going ones against one, somebody's going to lose every play. And you got to hope that the guy that loses is because the other guy was great and the guy that lost was really, really good. So you go home every night trying to figure out, is your this side that good or this side that bad? And it was one of the things about the scrimmage the other night. I thought when we were good against good in our scrimmages here, as we've gone closer to game time, both have had some wins. And that's important as you look at it. But everybody wants to see their team play somebody else. The defensive coaches and players know all the signals, and they start jumping plays, and it's time to move on and for everybody in America to go play somebody else.
Nice question. Coach, what are some of the main things you want to see from the defense? They're not going to be that defense that you want to see from 2 years ago right off the bat.
Yes, I want to see the impression of our defense change. 2 years ago, it was really good. It was one of the best in the country and the best against the run in the Big 12. And last year, I didn't even think we started that way against Wyoming or New Mexico. I thought we had a better preseason camp than we had start of the season, and then at Ole Miss, it was tough. And then we had that bad stretch. And I'm going to tell the players tomorrow that you only get one chance for a new first impression. So if you want to change the impression of people on your defense, you better show them Saturday night, because they're all going to come and watch.
Saying that they're feeling more effort this year. I mean, we were just talking about, I think the biggest thing everybody's looking at is, you said, your most anxious point. But as far, do you think that there was a lack of effort on their part last year? Maybe they thought it might come to them easier than it did, and now this year they know that they better not sit on the world?
No, you can sit and make excuses for what you want to. I do know this year, I think all of that will be better because we have more depth. There is more competition. We have more experience. And we know more about what we're doing against tempo offense, and we'll still have to line up. I don't think that New Mexico State will run tempo offense. I think they'll run option and have more quarterback runs and do some things which will be good for us as well. But I do think that every one of those players is at a better place right now than he was this time last year.
Okay, Coach. Thank you.
Thank you all.